Hello friends, today the topic is about how information is stored in the brain. Has anyone seen a human brain? I believe a few of you might have seen it on television, computer, or in a photograph at least. The brain is a master control center of our body. It constantly receives information from the senses about conditions both inside the body and outside of it. The brain rapidly analyzes this information and then sends out messages that control body functions and actions. The brain also stores information from the past experiences, which makes learning and remembering possible. Our brain can be compared to the CPU of a computer. People who don't know what a CPU is, let me tell you what it is. The CPU is the part of the computer that processes input to give output. For example, if the input is how much is 5 plus 5, after processing this input, we get the output as a result is 10. This processing function is one of the functions of the brain. Our human brain is made up of 10 billion to 100 billion neurons. All animals with a backbone have a complicated brain made up of many parts. Animals that have exceptionally well developed brain includes apes, dolphins, and whales. In zoology, the brain comes under the central nervous system. The central nervous system consists of the brain and the spinal cord. The brain is connected to other parts of the body by the spinal cord. The spinal cord branches downward and is protected by the vertebral column, which is nothing but bones. For example, a person goes to pluck a rose flower from a rose plant and unknowingly one of his fingers touches a thorn and pierces it. Pain is the stimulus and it is carried to the brain via nerves, which processes the stimuli and produce a response. What I mean to say is, through the spinal cord, the information regarding the stimuli is carried to the brain. The brain is divided into one cerebrum, two cerebellum, three brainstem. All of the above contains nerve cells called neurons and glia, which are present in the neurons and serve as packing material between the neurons. The glia also performs many other important tasks. For example, certain glia keep the brain free of injured and diseased neurons by engulfing and digesting them. Other glia produces the myelin sheaths that insulate some axons. Research using cells grown in laboratories also indicates that glia-like neurons may transmit some nerve impulses. There are also blood vessels that carry essential substances for the survival of the cells in the brain. I don't want to go into the details regarding this and stray away from the subject. The function of the cerebellum is thought processing, storage of information, etc. Whereas a function of the cerebellum is the maintenance of balance and coordination of movement. The bottom part of the brain stem consists of the medulla oblongata. The function of this is to control breathing and heartbeat. The top part of the brainstem consists of the thalamus, which acts as a router. In other words, the message from different parts of the brain that come to the brain are routed to the appropriate parts of the brain by the thalamus. In addition to this, the thalamus controls body temperature, hunger, and other internal conditions. As everyone knows, the brain is enclosed within the skull that ensures its protection. The hippocampus and the cerebral cortex are the places where the memory is stored. Now let's go to our main subject regarding how the information is stored in the brain. I told you that all uh, throughout the brain there are nerve cells called neurons. Each neuron consists of an axon and a dendrite. These are nothing but extensions of the neurons. The axon of one neuron is connected to the dendrite of the other neuron. This point of connection is called the synapse. Some axons have a coating of fatty material called myelin. The myelin insulates the fiber and speeds the transmission of impulses along its surface. Myelin is white and tightly packed axons covered with it form white matter. The neuron cell bodies and the axons without myelin sheets make up the gray matter of the brain. The messages are carried to and from the brain via millions of neurons arranged in this manner. The neuron, like any other cell, has a membrane around it called the neural membrane. Certain electrically charged atoms of potassium and sodium move in and out of the neural membrane. This accounts for the nerve impulses or rather the electrical activity. I told you already that one neuron is connected to the other and the point of connection is called the synapse. The nerve impulse cannot travel by itself through the synapse to the adjoining neuron. For that, there are certain things called neurotransmitters, which are proteins that carry the nerve impulses through the synapse to the adjoining neuron. The brain's millions of neurons connect with one another in complete networks. All physical and mental functioning depends on the establishment and maintenance of neuron networks. A person's habits and skills, such as nail biting or playing a musical instrument, become embedded within the brain in frequently activated neuron networks. When a person stops performing an activity, the neural networks for the activity falls into disuse and may eventually disappear. In medicine, we term this as neural plasticity. It means that the neural circuits keep on changing as we live and work day by day through our lifetime. Just imagine there are many complicated networks of neurons throughout the brain through which electrical impulses move to and fro. You can call these networks neural circuits. For each neuron to function, it requires energy. Just imagine the energy consumed by these nerve cells when we use our brains. It is more than using hands or legs to do a job. Thus, in one word, we can say that the information within our brain has neural circuits. Just like we say electrical circuits. Isn't it amazing? Please don't forget to like and share this video. Thank you.